Welcome back to a late episode of Never Rest Farm. This is going to be the follow-up to the video I posted about the Mahindra tractor losing the wheel. That was 10 months ago. I've been meaning to post this video for many months. I want to cover what the resolution to my issue was, and I think I have some footage I'm going to post of reinstalling the wheel. But essentially, to recap, I changed the final drive seal on the driver's side of that tractor, and I painted everything when I put it back on, and I may have got the paint a little too thick where the wheel attaches, and I'm wondering if that paint didn't flatten out and allow the torque to be released on the bolts. Those bolts got loose just a couple hours after using the machine after the repair, and in the middle of disking a food plot, that tire passed me up. It created egg-shaped holes in the rim, which are no good. You can't have that, especially when you got a large or heavy loader on the front that lifts a lot of weight. You don't want that. You've got to have everything just right. So the difficulty was that that tractor is no longer in production. The manufacturer of that wheel is not manufacturing that wheel with that offset. Titan Manufacturing is who I contacted for that. And the guys over there, my contact over there, extremely helpful. The guy was going out of his way to try to help me out. He called me and checked up on me to see, had I found a resolution to the issue. And I told him I was exploring all the options, whether I'd have them custom make me one, or buy two new rims with a different offset, but they would match. Or my final solution was to either weld up that rim that I had and re-drill the holes, which I was prepared to do, and I had come up with some ideas on how to do that. But the solution came much easier than that. And it boiled down to, I spoke with Mahindra Corporate in Houston, Texas, and I got a Miss Yolanda on the phone. Very wonderful lady, excellent customer service. If anybody from Mahindra Corporate sees this, Miss Yolanda is a huge asset to your company. She's very personable, is genuinely there to help her customers. So if she sees this, thanks to her. She was wonderful. Mahindra ended up locating one of those wheels, and the list price was $650. I don't know. Now, I said the paint was kind of thick. I'm not really sure. I torqued the bolts down to spec, which I want to, if I remember correctly, was like 89 foot-pounds. It was not a lot. I expected it to be more. But for that bolt and thread pitch size, that is the recommendation of torque for that. So I don't know if that's an error in the Mahindra handbook or not. I'm not really sure. But they've since been retorqued to that, and they haven't moved. So I'm not really sure. But Mahindra made it right. They shipped the rim to my dealer, who, bragging on my local dealer is a whole nother video in itself. Singleton Sales in Franklinton, Louisiana. Excellent company, excellent guys. The backstory on that tractor is I bought it out of Illinois. The mid-range gear had some damage to it. I was unaware of when I purchased the machine. And to be fair to the dealer I bought it from, it would drive about 20 or 30 feet before it would pop out in that mid-range. I believe their mechanic checked everything out, probably drove it in that gear, and it moved forward and backward and assumed it was good. So no shade at the person at the dealership I bought it from. But I brought the tractor back to Louisiana from Illinois and discovered that issue. The tractor was still under warranty. It had to be completely taken apart. I think I have some pictures of that. I may post them in this video, but Singleton Sales went through it, repaired the transmission. I'd never purchased anything from them before, ever. They took the tractor in, they did the repair, and since then have gained a loyal customer. I will gladly purchase from them in the future if the need arises. So, but back to Mahindra corporate. Mr. Yolanda was very, very courteous. Her regional manager, I want to say the guy's name was Clint. This has been 10 months ago. He's the one who authorized the replacement. Very grateful to him. So if you're thinking about purchasing a Mahindra tractor and you're in the Southeast, I feel like you're in good hands, especially if you purchase one from Singleton Sales in Franklinton. You're going to be in good hands if you need any kind of service or support after you purchase. So they shipped the rim to them. I got the rim, brought it to a tire shop. They replaced the tire, and then I reinstalled the rim. So I'm gonna look, see if I have some footage of that. But this is the final outcome of the original video on, you know, what the repair was going to be, if any. So more or less just bragging on Mahindra and Mahindra's dealer on how they treat their customers. The tractor was actually out of warranty when this happened, and they took care of it anyway. So props to them. And if you're in the market for a tractor and Mahindra's on your radar, I think if you purchase from that dealer or somewhere in the Southeast, I think you'll be in good hands when it comes to support. So stay tuned. There may be some footage behind this commentary. And thanks for coming back. All right, so here I am in my shop, and what I'm going to do is, I had painted the wheels with this. When I got the tractor, the wheels had a lot of paint peeling, chipping, some rust spots, and that sort of thing. Well, it's almost the same color, man. It's pretty close, but not quite. So it's a little lighter, a little brighter silver. So this wheel, actually, I contacted Mahindra, I contacted Titan, the manufacturer of the wheel, and they haven't made this wheel in, I believe, 5 years. And this one is stamped 2019. So this is probably one of the last ones made for that specific tractor. The offset doesn't match any other machine. John Deere has an offset on one of their machines that is very similar, about 1.5 inches wider. I could have got some of those, but I would have had to buy two and replace it. So I contacted Mahindra corporate, spoke with Yolanda there, and super nice lady. You know, I couldn't ask for better service from her. And so I reached out to her, explained my concerns that this, I think it happened before under warranty and it was replaced. It did some damage to the hub and it was also replaced. And my concern was that if it was an issue with the disc itself, which when I spoke to Titan, they said that they had upgraded to a thicker disc. I thought, well, if I can, maybe I need to get a thicker disc to replace these so I don't run into this issue again. And Yolanda took my concern seriously. She reached out to the rep for this area. His name's Craig. Never met him, never spoke to the guy, but I can tell you by the results of this, he's top-notch, excellent. my dealer here in Louisiana is excellent. So they had me drop the tractor off. He wanted to take a look at it, which he did. I think it took him maybe a week and a half. And Miss Yolanda had spoke to me on the phone, said maybe they'll cover the half the cost, because the replacement cost on this rim is $650 plus tax. And to my surprise, Mahindra decided to just cover it as a goodwill gesture. And yeah, man, I'm shocked for one, and grateful for two. It really makes me feel good to know that my dealer cares enough about their customers to go above and beyond. There was no reason that they even had to do that or were obligated to do so, but I'm really glad that they did. It saved me a lot of money, and so I'm singing all my praises to Mahindra. My dealer, Singleton Sales in Franklinton, Louisiana, they're excellent as well, and I would recommend them to anybody who's in the market for a Mahindra tractor to seek them out. They're definitely a trustworthy group of people. It's a family-owned business, and they've been in business for a while, and there's a reason for that. So anyway, we'll come back to that. We'll get the whole story behind this tractor, because that's interesting too, to me anyway. And follow me along as we get this thing back in the dirt. All right, follow-up video. So I filmed me getting the tractor out of the woods a couple of weeks ago. And I've kind of just been in limbo, figuring out exactly what I was going to do. The original intent was to repair the damaged rim, and I had several ideas in my head how to do that, or possibly get some assistance on that, or figure something out. And I finally came to the conclusion that just replacing the rim would probably be the best bet. The fact that it was torqued down to spec and still was able to come loose after just a couple of hours of use made me really skeptical of trying to make a repair that maybe wouldn't be exact, and then possibly cause the same issue or even be more prone to the same issue. Welcome back. Let's kind of talk about what I think happened here. Maybe difficult to see, but so I had painted this. I had painted the wheel and this hub prior to putting it on. And the reason for that, I just wanted it to look nice and prevent any surface rust. And I think what happened, if you look right here, you can see the paint kind of got bunched up here. I think the paint was kind of thick. And when I torqued the bolts down, I think that paint maybe squished out of the way, and it kind of released the torque on these bolts, and I think that's how they got loose. That's my theory anyway. So lesson learned the hard way. But there's good news in this whole story. This could have been a costly repair. As of now, looks like my seal is still holding. That was the whole reason for taking this wheel off to begin with, was to replace the seal behind this hub right here. I think my threads are okay here. I'll run them and I'll keep an eye on the torque and we'll check them. I do have a replacement hub on the way, and I may repair it or just replace it in the future just for cheap, just for insurance purposes. I'd rather not have this happen again and possibly injure somebody or cause more costly damage. So, but we'll get into that more. I kind of want to do a little bit of a walk around on this machine, because the story of this machine is kind of an interesting one. About a year and a half ago, last year, I was planting food plots with my kids, and I have a smaller John Deere tractor, and it just made me a little nervous having them on an open station tractor. So I got online, I started looking around for a cab tractor, and I ran across this one in Illinois, and I purchased it from Siegel Equipment. I got a really good deal on it, I thought. It had some cosmetic damage, that most of which has been repaired at this point. But I'll do a walk around and talk about what I've repaired. We can start on the loader. Right here, where that grease zerk is, it was actually never tapped for a grease zerk. I thought it was just missing, and it had dirt jammed in there, and I thought it was a rusted, broken off zerk fitting, so I went to remove it with an ease out, and when I stuck the drill bit in it, it was just dirt. So I had to tap that, which I did with no problem, using that same gear wrench tap set that I showed in the last video. And I may go over that in detail later, because I really do like that set. So I repaired that. I greased all the skid steer quick attach connection here. Walking around the tractor, I don't think I made any repairs here. These rims were in really rough looking shape. They paint was peeling, starting to get a little surface rust. I cleaned all that with a wire wheel and painted them along with the other wheel, so they're painted all the way around. On the rear here, I added a hydraulic top link. It came with rear remotes. I did some touch-up paint on the rear here in the black. This reservoir for the windshield was broken and missing, or just cracked. Really, I mean, the whole top of it was missing. It was just the bottom. I replaced that, and that works fine. This tail light on this side was missing. So I'm assuming whatever caused the damage to this tail light probably at the same time caused the damage to this. Previous owner never bothered to repair it. The battery in this tractor was bad. I thought I had a parasitic draw. Turns out there was just a bad cell in this battery. It would show 12.4 volts fully charged, but it would only put out about 300 cold cranking amps, which is not enough to turn this diesel engine over. But replaced the battery under warranty from Interstate. The hood was damaged. If you can't tell in the video, this red is a little faded. This hood here was crushed in. This little vent right here was damaged pretty good. I'll post some pictures of what it looked like before the repair though. I tried my hand at paint and Bondo, and I think it turned out pretty good. But I'll post the pictures in this video so you can see that. On the interior of the tractor, on the inside, this shift lever had a lot of wear where it engages with this guide, and this was really sloppy. It still has a little slop in it, and that's because this guide is worn. And I think what I'll maybe do is just pull this out eventually, put a little weld in it. But I replaced this shift lever on the interior, cleaned it up really well. The windshield was the biggest expense. The windshield had a big pop in it up at the top. You can see the windshield's cracked now, but there's a better story behind that. So I ordered the windshield from Mahindra, and it took about 9 to 10 months to come in. And when it came in, it had a chip in this bottom corner over here. see that. There's a little eyelash looking piece there. So the dealer reordered the windshield, which came in just a week later. But I opted to purchase the damaged one, and because I could use it, it was the crack wasn't directly in my line of sight. And now you see it goes all the way across the windshield. But so I brought it to the windshield place, and they put it in for me. So I still have the good one in a crate, ready to go. But I'll use this one for now, just in case something catastrophic happens. I don't have to purchase another $900 windshield. I was able to keep this one and use it, and right now that crack's not in my line of sight. It doesn't bother me. Other things I've done are mostly just maintenance. Fuel filters have been replaced, hydraulic filters replaced, engine oil and oil filter replaced. The suction screen has been pulled out and replaced. So I went through everything on the machine. When I bought it from Siegel Equipment in Illinois, he told me that he repaired the AC. I believe both of these glass doors had been replaced. They had stickers on them with Mahindra part numbers. I find it hard to believe that the previous owner left that on there, but they possibly could have. I really don't know. But the AC works fine. Everything else works great. The only major problem I had is when I purchased the tractor on, over the phone, and I went to Illinois and picked it up, brought it home, and I put it in mid-range gear, and you'd drive about 20 to 40 feet and it would pop out of gear. But Mahindra has a 7-year warranty on this tractor. It says 2017. So I called up my local dealer here, Singleton Sales, and I didn't have much hope of really getting any kind of, major service, because I didn't purchase the tractor from them. It was a used tractor. I wasn't really expecting much, let me say that. And to be completely honest, I have been blown away by the service from not only Singleton Sales, but also Mahindra. So I brought the tractor in, and there was a gear that had come off. It's put on with a lock nut, and somehow that lock nut came off, and that gear was moving in and out on that shaft and was able to pop out. So it required a completely cab off, full disassembly of the tractor to repair it. I dropped the tractor off at Singleton's, and I want to say they had it fixed in less than 2 weeks. I don't know that they prioritized anything, or if that was just their standard turnaround time, but the tractor was completely done in about 2 to 3 weeks. The only issue I had after they repaired it was the adjustment on the rear remotes. There's an adjustment here on this cable that was a little out of adjustment. The top link would go in but barely go out, and then there was a small leak, one of those fittings there that I guess needed to be tightened down a little more. But I brought it back to them when I dropped the tractor at the dealer, because I'll get to that in a moment, but I just had it at them recently because they wanted to look at this front wheel. But so far I've been extremely happy with the machine. It does everything I want it to do. I think anytime you get a piece of equipment, you always expect it to give you a little more, and of course I have those expectations, but it's not a bulldozer. So back to that story with the wheel here. So I called Titan Manufacturing. They're the manufacturers of this wheel. And they quit making it in 2017. Or, I'm sorry, 2019. So it's been discontinued for a couple of years. They have similar design, similar size, but the offset is about an inch and a half different. I really didn't want to do that. And the cost of this wheel from Mahindra is about $650. So I reached out to Mahindra corporate to first locate the wheel because it took a while for the dealer to locate it. All right, let's see if we can get this guy back on here. I'll tell you, this tire is heavy as hell. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a wire wheel, knock all this loose paint off of here before we get started. Where the rim makes contact, the paint's already gone, but I'll go ahead and get the rest of that off of there for peace of mind. Well, first of all, from experience, if you're using a wire wheel in any capacity, please, please, please wear eye protection. I'm only telling you this from experience. Having a piece of metal dug out of your eye is no fun. I do want to put some paint on this center cap, so what I'm going to do is tape off the edges here so they don't get paint.